gives me these rings. All right, so I think we are live. Good morning. This is Juan Castillo, Assistant Principal at Pasquotank County High School for Educators Drinking Coffee. I have here Mr. Dwayne Crank. Oh my God. I apologize.
It ain't the first time.
Yeah, I was gonna say just Mr. Crank. Then I read your name on the screen, and I said I'll go for the whole full name. So good morning, Mr. Crank. How you doing?
Good morning, sir.
Good. Thank you for joining us. So, what are you drinking this morning?
I'm drinking good old-fashioned sweet tea.
Sweet tea. And actually, give me 1 second. I meant to do this. I'm coming. I just brewed myself a new coffee that my brother actually just sent me from his fiance, Carolina. It's weird because it's Colombian, but it's called Greenfish Coffee. Which is funny how in Colombia sometimes they want to Americanize a lot of names, and I'm like, you're losing its authenticity by naming it Greenfish, but it is what it is. And I just brewed it, so this is only like the second sip I have. It's actually pretty good. It's I don't know if you can see here, this little thing here. It's the state where I'm from, and that little dot is, I guess, the region where it's from. It's probably about 30 miles south of where I was born. It's actually pretty good. I got to drink a little bit more to fully appreciate it, but I like it that it's local from where I was born. It's very,
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's not very strong. It's good. I definitely have plenty of sugar to go with it. I'm not one to drink black coffee with nothing. It tastes like ash to me.
Yeah, I used to drink coffee a long time ago. I kind of got out of it.
Yeah. But now once you move to, I grew up in South Florida, but once I moved to North Carolina, oh my gosh, talk about sweet tea. That took the place of coffee for a long time.
Oh yeah, you can get some sweet tea around here.
And biscuits. Oh my gosh, my wife would always talk about Bojangles. I'm like, what's that? Bojangles? What's Bojangles? And then she would talk about some cheddar bow or something like that.
Cheddar bow, bowberry.
Now I learned to appreciate the bowberry. So North Carolina has, and then of course the Eastern Carolina barbecue. To me, there's nothing like it. I prefer that over.
It's good. Yeah, it's good, especially in Wilson, North Carolina.
Yeah. I forgot the name of the place there. There's a big. There's one guy that does. They're over there in Wilson. I forget. He's got a big barbecue place.
Parker's.
No, it's not Parker's. They have Parker's, all over in Greenville. But there's one place in Wilson. Oh man, I know it's gonna bother me the rest of the day. But anyways, well, I'm glad. Let me talk. I really, you and I have worked together here for the last 3 years. But to be honest with you, I know you've been here for a while at Pasquotank. Mr. Stanley says good morning. And then, like I always tell my guests, this is one way I communicate with my mom, that she sees me sometimes live on days. So she's actually watching us. We have an international viewer all the way down from Colombia. So, buenos días, madre. And, so where are you originally from?
Elizabeth City.
Oh, wow. See, I didn't even know that.
Yep. Born and raised.
Gotcha.
1961. Just telling you my age now.
That's right. Okay, so you were able to watch the space shuttle now.
Oh yeah, I told you I was there.
All right, cool. So Elizabeth City, wow. So before you were teaching, what did you do before you got into teaching?
Well, I was actually doing maintenance at the prison for about 3 years. Before that, I was doing electrical work at the beach, which I loved it in the summertime. And you know why? But in the wintertime, it was cold. But funny story is I was working at the prison. Mom came home. And the bad part is they had me, because I was the new guy. They had me, I was a swing man. I worked midnight to 8. Turn around the next day was 8 to 4. Next day might have been 4 to 12. So I filled in for people that had that day off.
Yeah.
For a whole month, I didn't even see my kid. Bryson. I did not see him at all because when I was coming home from work, he was going to school.
Yeah.
And I did it for 3 years. It was okay. Came home one night, and my wife said, "You interested in teaching electrical at the high school?" I said, "Oh." I said, "I might want to stay at the prison." Talked about it. They had a Christmas party at Miss Pippin's. She was our English teacher at Pasquotank. They had a Christmas party, and our principal was there, Miss Patty Hamler.
Yeah.
And she had talked to me about it. And a non-way, we're having a Christmas party. I was there because of my wife. Yeah. She taught at Pasquotank. And next thing I know, I got an interview and was teaching electrical. And Ray Scott was there at the party, and I knew him from playing softball together, and we coached together. And he said, "Well, you're going to get the job, and you're going to be my assistant baseball coach." I said, "All right." Well, that was in 2000 when the school had opened. I'd been there. She let me start in December. I really, the second semester didn't start to January, but I actually went in there part of November and December and started setting up. So I went in about 2 months after the school originally opened. So I felt like I'm a lifetime member there. But Mr. Kyle was there, Caldwell Kyle. He'd been there, and he retired after 30 years. And he was at Northeastern, and they moved the shop class over to Pasquotank. So he knew me. I got in there, and he let me set my stuff up, and we had 2 classes. We had one actually what we did back then, we rotated. On Mondays, I would be in the classroom, he'd be in the shop, and then we'd switch. But then after he retired, he stayed about 2 years, then he was out. This is a funny story now. After that, Miss Hamler was trying to find me another person to come in. And we went through about 4 or 5 different ones to come in. Now, these wasn't people that went out and had a teaching degree. They came in lateral entry, just like I did. But it's hard to find a person that could come in there and try to teach high school. For the first 2 weeks, I thought I was going to, I don't know what the word for it. But I got used to it. You got to have a strong base. You can't let them run you. But we went through 5 different teachers. We had the last one that came, I'm not going to call the man's name, but he was supposed to be in the shop, and I was in the classroom. Well, all kinds of, and behind my shop in the right behind this one wall, there's a bunch of lockers. Yeah. Well, that sounded like somebody was beating the lockers to death. This person that was supposed to be teaching, this was his 4th day. He was throwing books at the students. And next thing I know, he went out the back door, and I never seen him again. Wow. So Miss Hamler asked me if I would finish up that semester. This was 2nd semester with my classes and his classes. So I had 6 classes. Wow. I think it was my 3rd year. 6 classes. I had no planning period. I'm sure. And 6 classes. At times I had a combo. Yeah, it was like sometimes it was like 30-some kids in the shop, and which is a safety violation. But I didn't operate no power tools. I can tell you that. But that was in 2000, and I've been doing it ever since. And then when we couldn't find another carpentry teacher right away, finally Mr. Leo Taylor came in. He was teaching for 34 years at Dinwiddie in Virginia, and he wanted to teach here for 5 years and get another retirement. And he came in, and Mr. Taylor's a good man. Taught me a lot about, I knew a lot about carpentry because doing electrical work, you got to know about carpentry. But he came in, so the way we set up another classroom out in the shop with desk and everything. It's still up there. We had pull down. Gotcha. We had chalkboard, dry erase board that's still up there. And I use that for the shop now. But we'd rotate every week. He would stay in the shop and work from the desk, and if they need to go on out to the machines or whatever, that's when they got me. See, I actually hired for electrical. Yeah. And I did electrical and still do. but they wanted me to do carpentry too. And so that's why I do core electrical and carpentry, which I love doing it. I like being in the shop. I wish we were there right now.
Yeah. No, I hear you. I hear you. No, those are great stories. No, and it is. And I tell you, it wasn't until, and I would tell any kid, really pay attention. These are very life useful skills that you can have. And my dad is also study a little bit of electrical kind of engineering kind of thing. He was a quality manager when we lived in Colombia. So he knows about a little bit of electricity, and he did works and, knows a little bit about everything. He actually also, he loves carpentry. I think that's probably his first love. He came into it when he was in his mid 30s, and he loves woodworking and just, building things. But he would always say, "Come on, guys," to me and my brother. "Here, I want to show you how to do this." And me and my brother were like, forget it, man. I don't want to get my hands dirty and, do all this stuff. I'm a mama's boy. So, but I remember I bought my first house, and my parents came over for Christmas, and all of a sudden, boom, the power goes out. So I go, the breaker, I know that much. I go down to the breaker. But this one part of the house, this one bedroom or two bedrooms would not turn back on. And it's winter because they came over for Christmas. And I'm like, I don't know what to do. So I called the electrical trades teacher. At that point, I was living in Greenville. The electrical trades teacher in North Pitt said, "Hey, man, I knew he lived where I lived, near our live. Said, do you mind coming?" He's like, "Sure, no problem." And he came and looked at it. He goes, "I don't know what's going on." He goes, "We may just have to open up a receptacle and see what we see. Let's see where the power, because I don't see power coming up here." Needless to say, after making a few holes, we figured out that when they built the house, I don't know why, for whatever reason, they put an electrical panel outside for this part of the section of the house, and all it was the switch. Well, they
put a sub panel in.
Yeah. So $200 later, and several holes in my wall. So you know what I mean? It's something. And I think part of my reason why I don't mess with electricity is, as a kid, we were playing. Actually, it was in Colombia. We were playing in this friend's house, and it wasn't in the best shape. And I leaned up against the wall that had a receptacle that was open. It wasn't covered or anything. And the shock that I received from that receptacle made me fear electricity. And so I don't mess with it. I tell people, my wife puts up the ceiling fans. She's going to get shocked. I'm not. I'll hold the fan for her. But I am not. After feeling that, and I know I was only about 10 years old, but I'm not going to get shocked again by electricity. So, but anyways, to make a long, I'm not going to say that. My wife says I say, to make a long story short. But yeah, so that's why I don't mess with that. But I encourage any kid. Listen, I mean, some of those basic skills of how to change a receptacle, you know what I mean? It's not that difficult. Putting up.
No, it's not.
It's not. It's just understanding that you have to turn off the power, knowing exactly which wires goes with which, knowing how to read those instructions. A lot of us complain about these instructions don't make sense. It's because we don't want to take the time sometimes to really. But a lot of them do give you good instructions with that. So no, I appreciate what you do. It's vital life skills that I think a lot of people.
I've had one student that put up a ceiling fan for his mom just the other day. Made the fan work, light works, and he's in my electrical 2 class. He's good.
It's awesome.
That's what he wants to get into. He wants to go to school and do that. My son's at Pitt right now doing electrical, trying to get his electrical degree.
I think you told me, something, and I don't know, in part because we are so far away, and of course we do have the College of Albemarle, but you're aware of what they do at Pitt Community College with the local high schools and building the sheds?
Mm-mm.
No, what they do is every year they have a competition. They invite all the electrical cabinetry classes from all the high schools. And now, of course, they have more than we do. We only have 2 high schools and stuff like this. But what they do is they pretty much have a competition. Over a weekend, they have to build like almost, a typical size shed. I don't know what the size would be, if it would be like 8 by 10, whatever it may be. Maybe that's too big. I don't know. But they work together. And so, well, each like you would take a core group of about 5-6 kids so all weekend they work, they build it, they put an electrical outlet in there. It's really cool. And they usually do it around springtime. I mean, I don't know if that's something we can look at. That could be. I wouldn't see why, they wouldn't accept somebody from the outside, kind of thing.
I've actually built one and sold it. Actually, Amy Fife bought the shed. We didn't. I want to do one which got electrical in it. All they got to do is put it on the property, and then electrician runs power from the house to the shed, and it's ready to go with receptacles, lights, and everything. That's what I want to really do.
Yeah.
In Currituck.
Yeah.
For I don't know how many years now. Jeff Rhodes he was the instructor there at carpentry. But he would go and build a house every 2 years and sell it.
Wow. Yeah, I mean,
he had a lot of people, like Kensal Building Material, different people down at Home Depot who would donate us tub or shower.
Yeah.
And he didn't have probably $15,000-$20,000 in it, but he would sell it for $50,000, and he put $30,000 into his carpentry fund.
Yeah. So I mean, that's
the person that bought the house. They were smart, and I know the person that bought it every time they sold it, but he would go out and bid $50,000-$60,000 on the house. He'd go buy a piece of property for $10,000, put it on there, and sell it for $160,000. So he's making $100,000.
Yeah, and that still has to pass inspection, and you know what I mean. So,
well, the inspectors come to the school and inspect it every time they had something done to it. So the last thing he had to do was go out there and check the footing or whatever, and then they would have to hire somebody to move it into that spot. But it's not that hard to do. The only thing about it is there's no electrical or plumbing done underneath.
Yeah,
it's done overhead mainly because you got to jack that house up and put it on a big truck, and you would mess up the stuff if you did. But yeah, there's ways of doing things. It's pretty cool.
It is. I mean, now, of course, it's a little more difficult. So let's transition a little bit. I know this year has been difficult. You teach a class that really needs to be about as hands-on as any other class I can think of. How have you guys been trying to battle through that this year?
My biggest thing is when you can't get in the shop and get the hands-on. Virtual learning, as far as videos, I show a lot of videos where they can see exactly what's happening. For example, the electrical part. I can show them a video where instead of being in the shop where they put a receptacle together with the white wire on this one and the black wire on this one, and where does the ground go, I can show them a quick video of how that receptacle is supposed to be hooked up. Same way with a switch, same way with a ceiling fan. So I do a lot of research on videos that takes place of us going in the shop.
Yeah. No, that's
same way with carpentry. With carpentry, I find videos, and I've used them for I don't know how many years, where the first thing the guy does is build a floor for a shed, just like we would in the shop. So if we ever get in there, they've seen this and know about what we've got to do.
Good. Yeah. I mean, and I tell you, I mean, you think about when you first started teaching, to where we're at now with the advantage of, having these videos, tutorials, the DIYs and those things that you can utilize, in a classroom. I'm sure when you first got started, if anything, it probably was a VHS tape or a CD that you could input, and maybe Bob Vila would come in and show you what to do. But now
I still got the TV in my shop. It's in the shop because I don't know if you know, but we're repainting the whole shop.
Yeah, I wanted to.
And everything's moved to one side. It's just junky right now, but we finished the other day, and hopefully today when we get out this afternoon, we're going to start moving some new machinery that I've got in there. But I still got the TV where you put the VCR in the TV and play it.
Oh,
and the
really?
TVs are bigger than like a 19-inch. It's small. I mean, I had kids on top of each other trying to watch it because it was. And I still got the HS tapes that go in it for all different kinds of stuff.
No, that's cool. That's cool. Yeah, I remember, gosh, teaching. I started teaching in 2000, and
I'm right there with you.
trying to find stuff on kid, videotapes for kids and stuff. I didn't have access to a DVD player at that point for my classroom was all, but no, it's good. And yeah, you mentioned something about. So tell me about some of the renovations you've been working on. Pretty much, I think about almost over a year now.
Yeah, well, in the shop, it's 20 years old, 20 going on 21 years old, out in the 2000. On the one side is our machinery that we cut with. We got our band saws, table saws, and so forth. Well, Miss Davis gave me some money to buy some new machinery because it was getting old. The table saw was old. The band saw, the radial arm saw, you can't even find parts for that anymore. I mean, that's how old that is. So what we did, we took that out of line. We gave it to maintenance, and they're putting it in surplus. But she got me a new table saw, new band saw, and it's not a radial arm saw, but it's the new DeWalt, the sliding compound miter saw, which is basically the same thing as a radial arm saw, except the radial arm saw would cut up to 24 inches.
Gotcha.
I've got a new sander and a new big air compressor. I've been through probably 6 or 7 air compressors in that shop. Air compressors run every single day. We're in there. Kids blowing themselves off with sawdust or whatever.
Yeah.
And it was used so much, the cylinders and pistons and all was just done. So now I've got a new one. You can't move it. Once you get it in the shop, it's got to be bolted down. That's how big it is.
Mm-hmm.
All with 2 more reels, and I want to run air all the way to the other side. So you ain't got to move that because the air compressor can't be moved.
Yeah.
And it's on a reel where you just pull the reel but we started painting it about 2 weeks ago. Ended up having to put 2 coats on it because it's a little bit lighter coat than what we had down there. But it's going to end up doing good. The walls just still got 20-year-old sawdust on it.
Yeah.
So we're going to try to get that. And the pipes up top, it's still got the sawdust because it's hard to get up there and get it. I'm going to end up probably getting the Genie.
Yeah.
That's the machine that we use to rise up.
Okay.
Get that, get ready to try to. But I then decided there probably won't be much built because nobody's going to be there this semester anyway. But this is a good time with the kids that's coming in. I think I got 3 or 4, except Thursdays. I got a couple, but it's a good time with those kids to get the shop like I want it.
Yeah. No, it's
looking new again.
And it's good. And I think, it also teaches, it's far, and I know you teach maintenance, but also, the caring of the place where you do all your work because, valuing sometimes, as me, sometimes painting and stuff. And when I would get really involved and have the paints and all this stuff everywhere, but it's nice to have things clean and just take care of it because sometimes, in art, you leave paint on a brush and you've ruined it,
Yeah. You got to throw it away. That's why I hate oil-based paint. I love water-based.
So,
another thing, it teach them housekeeping.
Exactly.
If they go out there and work in the shop and they leave it messy, I'm gonna say I hate to go in your house because if that's the way you do it at your house, I hate to go in there.
Yeah.
They also understand that if you don't get it cleaned up, there's a good way of somebody getting hurt. So.
Very good, very good. And you also want to learn how to extend the life of something, and you got to take care of it.
Yes.
I mean, a lot of things are made, I think, to be disposable, but it's nice to save a little money without having to buy.
Equipment.
I have, and I don't. Maybe this solution is with cordless power drills.
Yeah.
Man, those batteries just because I don't use it that often. I don't know if that's part of the problem. What I should do with the batteries?
Where do you keep them at?
In my garage. I mean, I keep it.
Is it cold in there?
Yeah.
That's number one problem right there.
Oh yeah.
Yes, I've got a garage. I'm looking right out at it right now, the door to go out there. Of course, the reason why I'm going to tell you the reason why I've got a heater out there is because this winter, rain and cold, I set up a gizmo where I can hit golf balls in the garage. So, and I ain't going to do it when it's cold. So I've got a little tower heater that rotates.
Gotcha.
I'll cut it on around lunchtime every day, especially if it's cold. If it's not cold like today, but if it's cold like 25 outside, I'll cut the heater on. It warm my garage up because I'll sit out there and mess around for 2 or 3 hours at night while my wife is watching TV. If you're keeping those batteries in the cold, that's one of the reasons why they're dying out really quick.
Gotcha. And now,
think about your car battery when you ain't started it for 2 or 3 days, and
that makes sense. That makes sense.
It's the same kind of battery. It's a DC battery, and that's one reason why they're getting bad real quick, cold weather.
Now, let me ask you really quick, and we're kind of running short on time now. I know for a brief time I was volunteering at the Southern Shores Fire Department, and some of the tools that they use, extractors and all stuff, and some people came to show us some of those, power tools. A lot of them are cordless now, which is incredible, and the power that they generate. But they're using like old, and I don't want to, whatever, but they use like old Milwaukee batteries.
Yeah.
It's a brand.
Milwaukee tools are still made. They're good. Matter of fact, a place I get a lot of my electrical stuff. The only place you can get stuff around is except Lowe's, but they don't have everything.
Yeah.
It's City Electric Suppliers. They sell Milwaukee stuff. Lowe's still does, but Milwaukee's a good tool.
Okay. Yeah, I have never used them, and I was just wondering. I'm like, well, if the fire department seems to, and they were talking about the battery life for those things and how much and power they could generate too.
Yeah.
So, all right. Well, let me see. I got a couple mentions here. Miss Vicky says, good morning. Miss C, good morning. Miss Trinika White, even though she left to school, she still comes back and says she wants to come back. Let me see. Miss Marquita Wiggins says, great skills and training they're learning in your class, regardless if they choose to go to 4-year, 2-year tech school. They will need those life schools. Very true. Mr. Stanley says Milwaukee tools run stuff for my department too. Yeah. Their batteries. Good, man. Well, we're coming up to here almost 8:30, so I don't want to keep you. I know you may have class coming up, but we'll have to do this again. I want to get an opportunity to talk maybe also about during the time that you were coaching. I did have planned, man. I was trying to find an older picture. I did find a picture of some sort of activity that they were doing. I didn't get a chance to put it on here. And
you didn't see that picture that John Lee took from about 15, 20 years ago?
He was trying. I tried to call them last minute, but I think I put too much on him to try to get it to me. But it's funny.
I wasn't as fat in my gut.
Well, we are, when we look at pictures 20 years ago, we know we're not 18 anymore. I know one of the biggest things is, if I get on top of a chair and I jump, I am worried about what's going to happen 2-3 feet below me because, we don't have the spring in our step anymore. We don't have the cushion we used to have, at least not in our legs like we did. But
no, at this time next year, you're going to say the same thing about me because I don't know if I told you, but next year I got to get back surgery.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, my L5 is moved about 1 inch out of whack, and it really hurts if I try to do a whole lot with it. So I've gone to a chiropractor. It ain't worked. They told me it wasn't going to work, just ease the pain a little bit. Mm-hmm. But they're going to have to go in and cut me and fuse everything together.
Oof. Wow. Yeah, not looking.
I ain't looking forward to it.
I have back issues. I hope my wife says I'm worried about moving forward, but anyways, it's been fun. We definitely got to do this again. I do appreciate it. Also, I know this month is CTE, I guess appreciation week, so we do appreciate everything you and your department does. You
appreciate
guys teach our kids tremendous skills and life skills, and many of them go on to to industries that are similar, so we do appreciate it. So with that being said, it is Educators Drinking Coffee. I finished my cup of coffee here. Probably go have a little bit of your tea there. So thank you, Mr. Craig. And
thank you.
Juniors, Makeup ACT, March 9th. If you didn't take it this past Tuesday, you are automatically signed up for March 9th. Make sure you fill out the Google form because I need to know who's coming. All right. Thank you.